Every summer, the transfer market turns into a feeding frenzy. Bids flying everywhere, hijacks tapping up, and release clauses triggered overnight. And yet somehow there's a tiny group of elite footballers, genuine superstars, who've never received a single official bid in their entire careers. Not one. No fax, no email, no offer letter. The biggest clubs in the world admire them, scout them, whisper about them, and never dare press send. Today we're looking at 7 of these untouchables and the fascinating reasons why nobody has ever made a move. Let's get into it. We start with the crown jewel of the Premier League champions, Bukayo Saka. Think about how insane this is. Saka is one of the best wingers on the planet. The star man at Arsenal finally ended their 22-year wait for the Premier League title. And in all these years, nothing. No official bid has ever landed on Arsenal's desk. The closest anyone came? Reports in Spain claimed Florentino Perez and Real Madrid's board internally approved a package worth around 120 million euros after Saka tore them apart at the Bernabeu, scoring against them in the Champions League and walking off with their applause. And then they never sent it. Madrid's own position, according to Spanish reports, was that they wouldn't even attempt to bid unless Vinicius or Rodrigo left first. Juventus and Atletico monitored him as a 20-year-old when Arsenal's asking price was a mere 50 million euros. Everyone monitors, nobody bids. And in February, Arsenal answered all of it with a fresh contract extension. The boy from Hale End isn't going anywhere, and Europe knows it. And if Saka is untouchable, his rival across the country is a fortress. Say hello to Phil Foden. The Stockport lad has over 300 appearances for Manchester City since his debut in 2017, a cabinet full of Premier League titles, and a Champions League. Real Madrid reportedly view him as the crowning piece of a new Galactico project, with Jude Bellingham cast as an informal ambassador to lure his close friend to Spain. PSG is said to be ready to match any package. And here's the wild part. Even in early 2025, when reports claim City might actually listen to offers around 150 million euros, with Madrid and Bayern both circling, still nobody bid. City's response since? An asking price between 180 and 200 million euros. Shatter the world record money. And plans for a contract worth £400,000 a week. Now, let me keep it fully honest with you. In all these years, only one offer has ever reportedly been submitted, and it came from Saudi Arabia, with Al Nassr's 130 million euros thrown straight into the bin. Not a single European club has ever dared. That tells you everything. From one homegrown captain material star to an actual captain, Reece James. For years, Real Madrid have circled Chelsea's skipper like a shark that never bites. It started when he racked up 5 goals and 6 assists in 22 league games in the 21-22 season and played every single minute against Madrid in the Champions League. They left those games with him top of their wish list. They contacted Chelsea to sound out his availability. They made him their top target to replace Carvajal. Spanish reports repeatedly claimed that they'd prepare bids of 40, 50 million, always preparing, never sending, with Romano confirming he'd heard nothing concrete. And remember, Madrid had already robbed Chelsea twice before, taking Courtois and Hazard, but only when their contracts ran down. James never gave them that chance. Injuries scared off the money men. His heart was never for sale anyway, and in March he ended the conversation forever, turning down interest from Madrid, Barcelona and Manchester City to sign a 6-year contract until 2032. A one-club man being built in real time, and the giants of Europe never even got a bid in before the door slammed shut. Now, let's go to the Basque country, because the next 3 players are protected by something even stronger than contracts. Starting with a man our African fans know well, Iñaki Williams. The Ghana international is a legend at Athletic Club. The man who once played 251 consecutive La Liga matches, a record streak that may never be broken. And here's the thing about Athletic. Their model means clubs don't bid full stop. The only exit is a player demanding to leave and someone depositing the full release clause with La Liga. For Williams, that clause is 135 million euros. The only clause the club has ever made public, almost like a warning sign on the gate. Liverpool once explored meeting his old clause and approached his camp. He turned it down flat. Manchester United made contact in 2019. Williams admitted it himself, and his answer was to sign a 9-year contract. His words: his number one option has always been to retire at Athletic. He even added that he could never join Real Sociedad. 100% iconic.
Football fans, this is the deal you don't want to miss. Whether you're hunting for an iconic World Cup jersey or the colours of your favourite club, Goal90 Shop has the perfect pick for you. And right now, everything is a flat 15% off, with free shipping anywhere in the world. So don't wait. Hit the link in the description, head over to Goal90 Shop and grab your favourite jersey today.
His teammate takes it even further. Unai Simon hasn't just never had a beard, he's made a beard impossible. Spain's number one goalkeeper, a European champion, a Nations League winner, and now a World Cup winner after Spain's triumph this summer, is one of only 3 players in Athletic's entire squad with no release clause at all. None. And that's deliberate. After Chelsea triggered Kepa's €80 million clause in 2018 and ripped their keeper away, Athletic rewrote the rulebook. When Simon renewed, they simply removed the clause entirely. His own words when he signed: "I've been here since I was 14 years old. It is a dream for me." Real Madrid monitored him, Inter monitored him, but how do you bid for a man whose contract has no price and whose club never sells? You don't. You just watch him every summer and you move on. Checkmate before the game even starts. And the third Basque untouchable might be the best story of all. Mikel Oyarzabal, Real Sociedad's captain. 11 seasons, over 400 appearances and 130 goals, all for the club he joined as a kid. He brought up his 100th goal in 2024 and inherited the armband when club legend Illarramendi left. He scored in both of Sociedad's Copa del Rey final wins, 2020 and this year's. He scored the winner in the Euro 2024 final. He was Spain's top scorer at this World Cup as they conquered the world. And listen to the market's response. Manchester United have monitored him for months and called their interest serious. City wanted him as a Sane replacement years ago. Villa are keeping tabs. United even scouted him in person this spring. His release clause is a very payable €75 million. And still, as one report put it perfectly, it's surprising that nobody has gone for him yet. Everyone watches, nobody moves. Loyalty this obvious scares the checkbooks away, which brings us to the grand finale. The greatest never bid for player of all time, Thomas Müller. 25 years ago at Bayern Munich, from the youth academy to becoming the most decorated German footballer in history, more than 30 trophies, 13 league titles, 2 trebles, a World Cup with Germany in 2014, and more appearances than anyone in Bayern's history. And in a quarter of a century, Bayern never once opened the door. The famous near miss? Manchester United's reported pursuit in the Van Gaal era, with English reports claiming that they were ready to spend huge money. Bayern's hierarchy shut it down so hard that a formal bid was never even entertained. The message from the top was simple: not for sale at any price. Müller stayed, kept winning, kept trolling opponents, and when he finally left in 2025, it was on his own terms. A free transfer to Vancouver, waving goodbye as a one-club legend. Some players are transfers waiting to happen. Müller was a monument. So there you have it, 7 top footballers, and between them essentially not one official bid in their entire careers. Some are protected by release clauses like fortress walls, some by contracts with no price at all, and some simply by a loyalty so obvious that even Real Madrid's billions know better than to try. And maybe that's the lesson, guys. In a sport drowning in money, the rarest thing left isn't a 100 million transfer. It's a player nobody even bothers bidding for because everyone already knows the answer. So tell me, which one of these surprised you most? And would your club ever dare test one of them with a bid? Drop it in the comments, smash that like button, hit subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss a video. Catch you in the next one. Bye.